But let's start with the Philadelphia Phillies because they were back from their all-star break this weekend. They dropped 2 of 3 to the Los Angeles Angels. The starting rotation didn't look great. The bullpen woes continued. You did see some power from Bryce Harper, which we'll get to, which is great news. But I think everybody's focus right now is what is going to happen over the next 10 days because this team cannot be complete simply by signing a 40-year-old reliever in David Robertson. But, Ricky Bo, hope you had a great weekend, my man.
I did. I had a wedding. You know, it was interesting. Went over to Dover yesterday. That was awesome, by the way.
I know. I saw a bunch of pictures, man. You were having a good time.
I had a good old time yesterday. Absolutely.
Well, better time than they had at the ballpark, that's for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that. You know what? I mean, it is what it is. You get off to a cold start. Yeah, I mean, you take those days off, and this is no lie. When you take those days off, you kind of get into a lull. It's almost like, oh, this feels pretty good to have some days off and to kind of relax. And then you literally have to shift from first gear to fifth gear immediately. And if you can't do that, which we saw a couple guys do it, Kyle Schwarber's hitting the baseball well. You look at what Bryce Harper did over the weekend. Those two guys, that's I know John Kincade said this, but that was a pretty positive, I guess, theory on the weekend, if you want to look at it that way. But, I mean, losing 2 out of 3 on your first series back from the All-Star break, not exactly what you wanted to see, especially because it's at home. I think if they were away, I think I could swallow that a little bit better. But the pitching went south. That's a problem. That is a big problem. Because if this starting pitching staff starts going south, they're not winning anything.
No, you're completely right on that. And when you have your 3 starters that are supposed to be the strength of the team combined for a 9 ERA this weekend, giving up 13 runs in 13 innings, that's not great. But really, when we look at this team, for me, nothing has changed necessarily. They're going to be a playoff team. The major concern is what do they do in the next 10 days to help put this team over the top? And Philadelphia Phillies owner John Middleton met with the media before the game on Friday, and he gave a lot of insight into what their plan and strategy could be. We got a lot of audio that I want to get into, but I want to start with something that he said that bothered me a little bit, Ricky Bo. It bothered me because if he actually means what he's saying, I have my concerns. But listen to John Middleton talking about striking the balance at the deadline.
If you kind of empty the cupboard, you can do everything right and you still don't win. It's a bad call. It's a bad break. You know, a bad bounce of a ball. It's some guy who just gets ridiculously hot on the other team and beats you. So those things, you have to take that, you have to weigh all that because we're going to be playing baseball in 5 or 10 years from now, right? And we want the fans to be excited about the team 5 or 10 years from now. And to do that, you can't just trade everybody and say, well, and by the way, some players you think we should be getting, they're not going to be available. And other players you want us to get, they're going to be available, and it's going to be an arm and a leg, and we're going to say no. I mean, we had that problem last year with Crochet at the trade deadline. We made a spectacularly good offer, so good that Dave looked at me at one point and he said, I don't know that I should be doing this. And he said, you know what, I'm ambivalent. If they take the deal, great. If they don't take the deal, great. I'm really happy with keeping the guys we were going to give them. And that's the way I was. And I think, so you have to balance that. And that's, look, he's got 40 years in the business. And nobody's perfect. Nobody makes every call right. But he's made a lot of them really well. And so you just have to trust Dave to kind of think this through.
All right, so that was John Middleton. Long clip there, Ricky Bo, but there's a lot in there. Here's what I hated about it, okay? And I'm hoping that he's just posturing to everyone else in Major League Baseball instead of coming out and saying, hey, we're going to go all in. But to throw out there, well, look, we could do everything and still not win. And, you know, we got to worry about 5-10 years from now because people are going to want baseball here and be excited about it. Like, to me, it's basically saying, like, look, I know the house is on fire, but if we call the fire department, do we really want to waste all the water on that house? It's going to burn down anyway. Like, you got a team right now that could win a World Series. You have glaring holes. It's not as if we're saying go all in on a team that we don't believe in. I do believe in this team, but you got real problems. I don't want to hear, oh, well, we could make the moves and still not win. No, at least give it a shot. Take advantage of this rotation. Take advantage of the guys you have at the top of the lineup.
Bill, the one thing you really have to ask yourself, I mean, is this the shot you want to take? Is this the best shot you think you're going to have in a while? If you have that thought process, there should be nothing stopping you from making moves. But I will say this much. You know this as well as I do, that words are used as weapons, one way or the other. You look at what John Middleton is saying, you could take this on two different sides. You could take this that he's telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, or you could look at it this way. He's throwing this out there to other teams to say, you know what, if you're going to come in here and try to rob us blind, we're not going to have it, okay? But if you want to make an offer and it's something that you think we can't refuse, but it's not cleaning us completely out, we will do it. I think he's trying to say there's a ceiling for them of what they're going to give away, what they're going to keep, and who they want and who they need. There is a ceiling for them. This is what it sounds like. But then on the other hand, you look at these weapons, you could also stab yourself in the foot with these weapons. You go out there, you say that, maybe nobody's going to deal with you because you know their price tags are higher. But then you said you were going to go out and get Crochet last year, and you were going to give up the farm last year. So what is the difference between last year and this year, with the exception your players are getting older? You see what I'm saying?
I do.
There's so many different angles to look at this that it's actually kind of fun to me that whether he's lying or not, he still wants to make a move. He's always going to want to make a move. He's like the gambler. He wants to make that type of move. And if it's there and they appreciate the offer, they will go get it. If they do not, I believe that they will sit pat.
But there's a couple things, though, Ricky, that bother me. This is the same John Middleton who aggressively said, I want my bleeping trophy back.
Yeah, that came to my mind.
Right? I want my bleeping trophy back. And now the 180 of, well, look, we want the fans to be excited about baseball 5 to 10 years from now. So, look, we could go all in, but we may not win it. Like, to me, that is a completely different mentality of I want my bleeping trophy back.
It is a completely different mentality.
Completely different. And when you said it comes down to whether or not you believe in this team and if this is the best opportunity for them to win, we know what is looming after the 2026 season. This CBA could result in a lockout, Ricky.
Yes, it could.
It could result in a lockout. And when you have a starting rotation like this and you don't know if Zach Wheeler, you may get 2 more seasons out of Zach Wheeler. Because 1, he may retire, or 2, you may be in the middle of a lockout and now Wheeler's forced to retire. So I do think when you have this starting rotation, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, I know there were issues this weekend, but when you got this starting rotation and you have Kyle Schwarber, who is on a different planet right now, and there's no guarantee he's back next year, and you got Bryce Harper heating up, I do think you go all in if you have the pieces, because prospects are exactly that. They're just prospects. How many prospects have we seen not work out here in Philadelphia? Make the move. And here's the thing, Ricky, when he says we got to play baseball in 5 to 10 years, the moves I want to see them make are for players that could still be here. Get guys who are under team control. Don't make trade for Reynolds. Give up prospects, but get guys who are under team control that can be a part of the future for this baseball team. So I don't like him hedging his bet there.
But doesn't it also blow your mind that they'll go out and get David Robertson, who they're paying upwards of $6 million to for 2 months? He's 40 years old, by the way.
40 years old. Dude, I know how I feel getting out of bed every day. I can't imagine being a relief pitcher in Major League Baseball around my age.
It just, to me, that's a scary move to make. And to them, it was just a no-brainer. I don't know. Maybe he's Superman. Maybe there is a little something to David Robertson. Look, I like the way he threw when he was here. That's fine. But what really is he at 40 years old? I think you have to question that.
Yeah, and listen, I don't hate that move because you didn't have to give up anything other than dollars to get him. So it's okay. You bring him in, but he's not the answer. I'm not mad about it. You needed arms in that bullpen. He's probably better than a lot of the people you have in the pen right now. Yep. But that can't be the move. You know, it's a move to help you down the stretch, but the move cannot be David Robertson.
See, I still believe that there is a reliever out there for them. There's too many that are going to be available. There's a bunch of the rumors that have come out, like that people will throw Aroldis Chapman in. That team is a wild card team right now, by the way, the Red Sox.
Yeah, so they've really come on strong over the last month.
There's certain guys that, you know what, look at it, take a good look at where they are, who they're with, and you'll know if they're going to be available or not. I don't see Aroldis Chapman out there unless the Red Sox come in here, lose 3, they lose their next 3 after that, and everything falls apart on them.
Well, look, you just mentioned there could be a bullpen arm. Coming up, I want to talk about the outfield because when I look at the numbers in the outfield, that may be equal or even above in terms of needs for this baseball team, especially what you watch this weekend when the offense can just go cold like we've seen before. So I want to get into that. We'll also introduce our Twitter poll that pertains to the trade deadline, but I do want to hear from you. You just heard John Middleton. You just heard him talk about the future and that you can't necessarily trade everybody because you got to worry about 5-10 years from now. Do you agree with that mindset? As a Phillies fan right now, watching this baseball team, do you agree with the mindset of, well, we could make all the moves and still lose, so I'd rather worry about 5-10 years from now? Or are you saying win at all costs right now? You could weigh in on that conversation, 610-632-0975. But Middleton also gave a little bit of insight into why he may be thinking that way. And he talks about what he learned in the 3 years following the 2008 World Series. This one is interesting.
I don't like this comment.
Well, we'll get into it. This is Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia. What's up, everybody? It's Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we post a ton of content. It's not just what you hear on air. We're posting content all day long. We do some things before the show, after the show, even stuff during the show. So subscribe, like, do whatever you got to do. We got all this content coming to you every single day.